All right, welcome to tonight's call. I'm gonna just mute a couple of you that are just for background noise sometimes on the recording. Thank you so much for joining us. We're so excited to share with you tonight. My name's Tabitha Sampson. I will share a little bit here in a little bit after a couple of you guys speak and share. But I joined Green Compass July of 2023, so I've just been here about a year and a half and exposed to the products and been able to use them and understand so much and so much clarity from just my eyes have just really been opened. And I hope that that's what we can do for you guys here tonight, just to kind of open your eyes to what this really is and the magic that we have. So I'm going to turn it over to Carla, who's going to share her inspiring testimony. And I'm so excited to hear from you. So take it away.
Okay, this is my first attempt of trying to share my testimony. I've spent decades trying to be in the background because I didn't want to focus on what I was having to deal with, which was 24/7 pain. I was, I'll start back in the early years. I've had 12 surgeries over my lifetime. And then after my hysterectomy in June of 98, I ended up having a blood clot in my stomach that stopped my heart. And I was on an operating table because I kept complaining of pain, and they basically told me I was just obese and didn't want to work. So they weren't going to do anything. So I prayed and I prayed and I prayed, and God allowed another doctor to say I have a blockage in my right kidney, put me on the operating table. They had me under anesthesia, thank God, and I coded. So they never did the surgery. But I had prayed, Lord, if this is how you're going to save my life, I'm willing to go through this process. And had I been anywhere else at age 37, I would not have been here. It took them an hour and 20 minutes to get me back, and they had to suction my lungs the whole bit. Um, I only have one fully functioning kidney. I now deal with fluid buildup because of the heart damage in the heart valve. Um, Going forward some years, I kept dealing with extreme pain, couldn't function, couldn't do anything, go to the doctors. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. I was having bad flares all the time. Lupus, RA, osteoarthritis, Sjogren's. Um, but most of the doctors, their solution was, oh, well, you're just obese and you need to lose weight. They didn't know me. They didn't know anything. I journaled. I asked them, okay, so what do I do? They would glance at this long journal and say, well, maybe you need to have weight loss surgery. And that was their solution. The other solution was to put me on all these drugs, including biologics, where I had to inject shots into my body, and I was never getting any help. Um, I hurt constantly. I got to the point where I couldn't lift myself up out of a chair because of the joint pain, the leg pain, the hips, and everything. And I tore my um, tendons in my shoulders. And that enabled me not to be able to wash my hair, dry my hair, do anything that required strength or raising my arms. I ended up having to have a caregiver because I even got to where I couldn't cook for myself. I wore a house dress because that was the easiest thing to get on, and Crocs forever. When 2020 hit, everybody was upset because they were locked down. To me, I got to see people. It was a blessing for me because I had already been locked down. So I was grateful for that time because I was lonely and judged. And because of the weight that I could not drop, that's automatic judgment. Well, you're just a fat slob. You can't do anything. You're just, that way because of all the weight. If you lose the weight, you'll feel better, right? So, flash forward to all these doctors that I've gone to in 3 decades, and no one was able to help me. They just kept giving me more meds from Big Pharma. And finally, I went to a doctor in Dallas, and he worked with me, tested me for 2 years, and finally said, "There's nothing I can do. There's absolutely nothing that I can see. You don't have autoimmune, but I don't understand why you're in this amount of pain." I could barely walk. Everything was an effort. And so I went ahead and thanked him for not giving up on me because another doctor fired me because he just didn't want to deal with all the problems that I was dealing with. And he had no answers anyway. So I think that was a blessing. Um, so I come home and I'm like, okay, so what's the next step, Lord? I had 3 different ladies from 3 different areas in my life tell me, you need to go see Laura McClendon. And God speaks to me in threes always. And so I said, okay. So I talked to my husband, and he absolutely emphatically said, yes, you need to go, because he had been doing research too. He has gone through this journey with me all these years. And I asked him when I was getting ready to do this testimony, I said, we've always focused on what it was like for me. What was it like for you?
It's okay, Sissy.
He said, it's my job to fix it. It's my job to make things better. Honey, I need your help with this. And I do it. Daddy, I need you to fix this. And I do it. And he said there was nothing he could do to get my pain to where I could have a life. I remember sitting on the couch one night thinking, Lord, if this is all there is, there's no quality of life. I can't help my family. I can't even clean my kitchen. I can't even do laundry. If this is all there is, just take me home. I'm sorry.
No, you're doing great. You're doing amazing.
So I go into Laura's office slowly, and I was so grateful for her because she said, your kryptonite is yellow dye. And then all the toxins that I had been ingesting that was called food was nothing more than a chemical storm. And I thought I would eat, when I ate fast food, I always ate the healthy Chick-fil-A, right? Well, I found out Chick-fil-A soaks their chicken in pickle juice. And guess what is in pickle juice? Yellow dye. Not only that, there's MSG and 50 other man-made chemicals. And that's just one of them. That's not just to pick on Chick-fil-A, but that's just one of the places that was not safe for me and caused me harm in my body. And I know a lot of people struggle with pain, and they don't realize what they're putting in their body is actually hurting them. And the doctors don't know how to help because they don't know about nutrition. They're taught the things in school the way they're taught. They're not taught nutrition or how to heal a body. They are sick care managers, and they just know how to give you drugs. They don't know why they say, let's just try this. Well, that doesn't work or you get side effects. They say, well, let's try this on top of that. And they weren't fixing it. So I was working with Laura since February 15th of 22. And because this February will be 3 years. And when I was a year and a half into it, I remember feeling like I'm taking 3 steps forward and 5 steps back. 3 steps forward and 5 steps back. And I just kept praying and I said, Lord, I know that this is the direction you want me to go because I am getting some results, but I need my breakthrough. Then December of 23, Laura introduced me to Green Compass to help with the pain. And I went ahead and bought it. And it for me, it was expensive because I haven't been able to work since 2017. And then I heard the TED Talk about the endocannabinoid system. I had never even heard of that word and how depleted it makes you. So I said, well, I'm going to invest in good health. I've invested who knows how much in sick care management. Well, now I'm not buying the crap in the stores anymore. I'm buying from farmers, and we have a tower garden, and we have a garden, and we're growing our own food and doing what we can to eat more healthy. So I said, well, I'm gonna load my body up with the cannabinoids. And whatever that looked like, that's what I was gonna do. And that was January that I made that decision. It was August of this year. I had just woke up, taken my CBDA, which is the inflammation portion of the tinctures, and I got busy cleaning house. And I was on a roll. You know how you get in that flow and you're like cleaning and cleaning and you got to do this and you got to do that and you're just making headway and you're just not stopping because you're just like in the groove. It was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon that I realized I didn't have to sit down any time that day and I hadn't taken anything else. And I was like, well, I guess my body has all the cannabinoids it needed to be able to function. And I just cried in the kitchen, knowing that I was getting my life back for real in quality of life. And so I won't ever stop the Green Compass. I trust the company, and I really liked the fact that it's all organic and made in the USA. It doesn't come from anywhere else. Not even the packaging comes from anywhere else but the US. And it's all organic and it's third party tested. I'm like, I've never dealt with any company that goes that far for transparency. And I'm like, well, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. And so my daughter started taking it, and she was having bad cramps, and now she doesn't. My husband wasn't sleeping well. Now he does. And he was resistant because he doesn't take anything. He doesn't even like taking an ibuprofen. But now he's a believer. He knows that it's helping. It's helping have good quality of sleep. He can get up in the middle of the night, lay back down, and he's back asleep. And so anyway, I'm thrilled for Laura and everything that she's done and doing because I'm still healing. I'm still detoxing. I'm still working on my health. But the cool thing is last year I started taking these classes at Laura's office because I wanted to learn more. Little did I know that God was clearing the path for me to help do what Laura's doing. And I know that it's God's gift back to me that everything that I've gone through is not going to be wasted. And if I can help one person realize there is hope. You're not defeated. You do and can have quality of life again. You just can't give up. Trust God to guide you through your journey, and trust God to um, lead you where He wants you to go. And there is hope. And if you want to be helped with pain, I highly recommend Green Compass, because it was a complete game changer for me after decades of nonstop pain and no sleep. And I'm so grateful that God's led so many amazing people in my life to help me and to get me where I'm at and where I'm going to be. So don't give up, y'all.
Beautiful job, Carla. Thank you so much. That was awesome. You did so good. So inspiring. Um, Thank you for sharing. Do we have another testimony? Okay, Victoria, did you want to hear? Let me see if I can unmute. I thought it's muted. Let me come up. There you
Did
go.
I unmute?
There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Victoria, Romanian, and Laura has been my primary care. I don't know if I don't think online I can't say physician, right? But she is my doctor. But anyway, um, but let me tell you the experience I've had with Green Compass. I have chosen to be a caregiver for my aunt and uncle that are in their 80s. And my aunt has Parkinson's. When I moved in to care for them in September, my aunt was almost zero walking. When she did, it was with not only a walker, but with assistance. And she was walking on her tiptoes and not very, wasn't with us very much, if I can say it like that. She was in and out of reality. And so I talked long with Laura. Laura has seen her before, but she's a hard case. You know how they are when they're older, and they have many, many doctors, and they keep handing them pills over and over, upping the dosage, which we were not seeing any improvement in that at all. So I talked with Laura. Now, this was about mid-September. And she recommended, was it full spectrum? I'm almost sure. Laura, was it full spectrum? Yes, that we had her on. Anyway, the minty, it was the mint flavor. I thought that I could get her to do that more than anything. So we started with 5 drops in the morning, 5 drops at night. Within a 4-week period, she is walking flat-footed, unassisted, and even though she is not all there, she is greatly improved. She is even able to dress herself, put makeup on, and fix herself food. So that is an enormous change, just that, which has now made her a believer. So anytime I say, let's add this or do that, she's fine with that. So I thought that was, for me, I thought that was a dramatic change in such a short amount of time. In just a month's time, to go from having to be assisted in walking and not dressing herself, not doing any of that, to now being able to, you can actually leave and go to the grocery store. You can leave and do things and know that she's going to be okay. So I am absolutely not only impressed but amazed at what it can do. And so I know that I've got more testimony with her and others, because others in the family are now saying, okay, what have you been doing? She's improved since you've been there, you know. And they were not big on the CBD, and now they're okay with that. So I'm telling you, proof is in the pudding. And when you see it with your own eyes, it's hard to deny. So I'm really excited. I'm anxious to see what the future holds and how many more testimonies we'll have as to what it does. So there you go.
Gosh, thank you so much. The Parkinson's testimonies, man, Laura has shared some with me. And I just had my first experience. I was just telling Laura about this. I just had my first experience with a local man who is a friend of my parents, and he's about 60, and it's only affecting his right side. His arm and his leg and his gait is off. And he is just shaking so much. And so I said, I tried to offer him this before, and he wasn't quite sure. And it's been a few months, and he came to me and he's like, I'm ready. And I gave him, I just gave him a sample of the broad and a sample of the full spectrum. And he tried the broad, and within probably 25 to 30 minutes, his shaking was almost completely gone. And it's just wild. I just am so fascinated by this, and there's so many uses, so much hope in it, but just to see people have such a, like you said, dramatic change. It's just, and these people who, the medicine's not working, and there's just a lot of things. I'm curious really quickly, and then I'll start in some other another topic here, but is that person still on their medication, or they're taking this with it?
They are still on their medication. They haven't reached the point of being willing to do that yet.
Yes, and I would,
But,
and I
yeah,
just was
but
curious.
yes, yeah, she would. I did not change or recommend any change in the medication she was taking. We just added that to it. But then that's when we saw the dramatic change, not with the medication that she's been on for months and months and months now. So that was encouraging to me. And that's why it's easy for me to say, no, it wasn't the medication, because actually we were going downhill taking the medication, and they had upped it 4 or 5 months before then. Instead of three dosages, they were taking four. But yet we were seeing a decline until the green compass, until the CBD was added. Yes. When that was added, we started seeing an uptick, not a decline. So, to me, there's no argument there as to what actually has made the difference.
Yes, absolutely. Laura, did you have anything you wanted to add? Are you good? I just wanted to, if you had anything you wanted to add before I start.
I just want to thank Victoria and Carla for sharing their stories. I know testimonials like this help people get the big picture of what you can do when you help people with these products. It brings me to tears. It's so fabulous. I love it. Yeah. Thank y'all for sharing.
Yes. Thank you guys. It's wonderful. Okay. I just want to dive into kind of sharing just a little bit about how Green Compass got started, and just why Green Compass and why you would choose this brand over another brand. 'Cause there's so much, basically just to kind of break into the CBD industry. And I didn't know this. So really quickly, I had started using CBD about, I don't know, 3 years ago ish. And my story has a lot to do with anxiety and my journey with anxiety. And I've pretty much had a very just hard battle with it a couple times actually, where I've just been really at the bottom of the barrel. And so I share a lot about that and really kind of speak to those people, just because when you go, kind of like Carla, when you go through something, you just want to be the light for other people. And so I was using a CBD brand that it was okay. It seemed to help me. I just kind of had realized I had done some research, and I had dove into ingredients, and I began to wonder, is this brand really what I think it might be? And I think I could do better in ingredient wise and standards. And so I started looking. We got someone coming in. I'm gonna let them in the waiting room there. So I kind of wasn't actually really looking, to be honest, but this kind of landed in my lap. And so I had already taken it for my anxiousness. And so I wanted to try this brand. And so anyways, with that being said, I didn't know when I came into this that the CBD industry is very unregulated, meaning that there's no standards. Anything and everything can pretty much fly. You could put anything in a bottle, call it CBD, and sell it. So it's at the gas stations, it's everywhere, and there's no standard of this yet. And so now moving into the fact that Green Compass and how it started. So Meredith Cook, she's one of the founders. Her and her husband, she had postpartum, and I love this story. And this is the first thing that I saw when I came into Green Compass, kind of the first introductory story. And she had postpartum, and she was looking for a solution. She was really struggling. Her brother was a triathlete. He did a lot of triathlons. He used CBD for muscle recovery. He's like, hey, I want you to try this. She tried it. She had great results. She was very conscious about ingredients and wanting to make sure that she was using the right products and something that was safe. So they happened to be friends with these organic sweet potato farmers, because her husband was in the agriculture industry. And then these farmers, these 6th-generation farmers in North Carolina, they were friends with them. They had happened to already be growing hemp on this soil. So they started, they're like, okay, let's use this. And so they started using it. It was really helping them. They, word got out and people were like, we want some of what you got. And so, they started to realize, okay, this is actually needed. So in 2019, they started this company. Now, I think it's really awesome coming from a business standpoint, that in 2019, thinking back to what happened in 2020, to start a business in 2019 and to have it completely soar through 2020 is just wild to me, and scary. It's scary for them during that time, but how cool that, and there's a whole story behind that. But anyway, so that's kind of how Green Compass came about. Now I want to kind of go into like why are they so good, and why does it really stand out other than any other brand? So because just FYI, a little fun fact, 80% of the CBD that's here comes from China. It's contaminated. It's, and CBD, if you didn't know, it's like a vacuum cleaner plant. So when it purifies the soil, it purifies the air. So it really grabs a lot of toxins. And so and that's what a lot of companies are using. So shifting into what we do, so we only use the flower of the plant. Most companies are using the stem, the stalk, and the seed, and they're grinding it all up, and that's what you're getting. Okay, that's not the best quality. So we're the most potent, best part of the plant is in the flower, and that's what we're using. Laura and I actually had the privilege to go to the farm in July, and go to North Carolina, Wilmington area, and go run among the hemp fields. And it was just the coolest experience to be able to see, where they get it. Because, you learn all this stuff and then you're like, wow, to actually see what they do in the whole entire process. And they took us to the labs and the whole thing. We got to see it all. And it's really beautiful what they're doing and what they've created. They have a 6-mile or 6-mile radius of organic soil around the entire crop. So there's no risk of runoff, pesticide, herbicide contamination. Like Carla said, they're third-party tested for heavy metals. They even test down to the water that they irrigate with, which is just incredible. We're vertically integrated, which just basically means that we own the whole entire process. So from seed to seal, we do it all. Nobody's got their hands in it. Like literally they do the entire process. We have a 95% absorption rate with our products. This is interesting because you'll hear a lot of people talk about gummies. Well, ours are called jellies. And the reason being is because it's water. Our jellies are water soluble. So we don't have gelatin. Okay. So they're a little bit more like spongy. They're still pretty firm, but they're just, they're water soluble. And the gummies, they're more hard if you've ever felt one or seen one, and they're fat soluble. Well, the problem is the gut can't absorb fat soluble. So you get like a 5 to 10% absorption rate versus ours, which you get a 95% absorption rate because the gut can absorb it. But the really cool thing is we have something called nanotechnology in our jellies, and it's where they shrink down the CBD molecules so small with sound and pressure, using sound and pressure. So it's a very healthy, safe way to do nano. There's an unsafe way to do nano, and there's a very safe way to do it. And the gut can actually absorb these molecules. So that's why when people try our products, they get a massive difference compared to other brands. So if you ever talk to someone and they're like, I tried CBD and it just didn't work, or maybe you tried it and you're like, there's a reason for that. There's multiple reasons. Like how is the quality, the absorption, all the things. The other thing that's really incredible is we have QR codes on every single bottle. I'm sure you guys have one maybe sitting by you. I meant to bring one down, but we have QR codes on the bottom of every bottle that takes you directly to the certificate of analysis. Now, this is really incredible. I don't know another company doing this, but not only do they say that they're clean and they're pure and they're transparent. Yes, Carla has one there. Thank you. I meant to grab one before the call. Awesome. So it literally, you just take your phone and it literally takes you to the exact, all the third party testing. It's so cool. Tells you the exact batch and the location where it was in the field. So the problem with something that really makes me angry is that companies say a lot of things that they are, but they're really not. And you dig into ingredients and you dig into flavoring, you dig into, whatever it is. And it's just a lot of times garbage or really good marketing. And that just, it's been something that has really, I've been really loud about, and I know you guys are too. And so anyway, so it's really cool that we have those QR codes. Of course, we're the only direct sales company and one of the only CBD companies out there that have the USDA certified organic label. It's not easy to get that. And so we managed to get that. And then we, like I said, third party tested. So with that being said, we could go on and on just about the standards, the quality. Meredith wanted to create something that was safe for the entire family, which is really awesome. This is safe for, I always say this is safe for any human walking, human and pet walking the earth. And, we all have an endocannabinoid system. I didn't really touch on that. Carla did a little bit. But it's basically a system in our body that it's the master system of all the other systems. And I always explain it because this was explained to me once. But if you think about a Christmas tree and the light bulbs on the Christmas tree, if one bulb goes out, they all typically go out, right? And so when we think about our body, sometimes it's as simple as, the receptors, we have these receptors in our body, and guess what they thrive on? They thrive on cannabinoids that are found in the hemp plant. So you take cannabinoids are found in breast milk too. So it's really, that's where people think, oh, like, I don't need this product, right? But like, our bodies were actually designed to thrive on this. This isn't foreign to the body. And so when you take this, the receptors are just like, all of a sudden they're in flow and things just start to just, your body goes into alignment, things start to work, things start to function. And it's just really incredible. What that looks like. And so moving forward, as far as, I just want to talk briefly about, and you guys are welcome to ask questions when I'm done here, but I want to talk about the growth really quick within this company and within this industry. So, in 2019, the consulting company estimated that they would do 300,000 in their first year. They did, I think, 1 million in their first 45 days, and they did 12 million in their first year. And they've doubled ever since. And so just for reference, this is mind blowing to me. I joined in July of 2023, just me, like by myself, just saying yes to this because I was like, okay, if I need this, other people need it. And I just think this is so cool because I just love this type of holistic, health and all the things. And this really aligns with me. And I want a brand that I feel like is the best thing out there. So we joined, so that's about a year and a half ago. Last month we did $211,000 in hemp as a team, which just blows my mind because it just starts with one and it just has completely skyrocketed. And we have just gotten the most incredible humans who also have a drive for this. And some of them have experience in sales. Some of them have none. Some of them just want to, they've had the most incredible results and they just want to shout it from the rooftops. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are and what your background is or whatever. It's just bringing in so many people who are just becoming very understanding and awake to what is happening with this product. And so CBD and hemp is really growing, and it's growing at 44. This is wild to me, 44% annually, the CBD and hemp industry. And Forbes estimates that by 2032, we will be 202 billion. Like that's the revenue, which is just wild. And so coming from a business standpoint, I've been in a couple other companies where, in different parts of my journey, and I've just never seen anything with this kind of impact. I guess I've never been a part of anything with this type of impact and this type of growth. And the fact that we haven't even scratched the surface with what we're doing here, because I've had 2 people reach out to me just today I haven't shared anything today about CBD, haven't talked about it today, but I've shared consistently for a year and a half, and people see you sharing, and they might not be struggling right now, but in 6 months when you're still sharing and something's going on in their life, or they have a family member, it's going to hit them, and they're going to realize and remember, your story. And the other fascinating thing too is that the FDA is going to shut down a lot of these companies that aren't doing it right. So since it is like Green Compass has actually sat at the round table in front of Congress helping pass these farm bills. And so they have really they have waded in it, and they have got in the grit of it to make this legal in all 50 states. And so the FDA is going to come and they're going to shut down a lot of these companies that aren't what they say they are, and their standards are so low. Which, guess what is going to happen? There's only going to be very few companies rising up and being able to stand tall and be so far ahead of any kind of regulations that they're going to put out there. And it's so special to be a part of this. And I always say this, but I just love this terminology. Is I think what we're doing and what others have said is we are pioneering for clean CBD. We're just pioneering for all of humanity, really, to just be able to give the gift of something that, anyone and everyone can benefit from, whatever they're going through, dealing with. And so that's really all I had to share. I have just had so much fun being a part of this, and just so many connections. And I knew Laura before, but just being able to meet, Denise and Carla and Krista, I've got to connect with her. And it's just incredible to think that, something so, I say small, but it's really big, but something so small can just turn into something so big and bless us in such huge, massive ways. So whether you're wanting to try the products and you just want to start there, I highly encourage you to do so. We actually have a big sale going on with the tinctures, the oil that you put underneath your tongue. All of our tinctures are 40% off. But if you're looking to actually join Green Compass and maybe build a business, or maybe just be a part of the community to share with people, it's really been the most significant, I think, decision that I've made. So that's all I had. Does anybody have any questions that they want to ask on anything I said? Yes, Krista, I know. It's so awesome. I love it. Yes, thank you guys so much for sharing.
Thank you, Tabitha. That was amazing. I'm so grateful to everyone for sharing tonight, and I hope we have a lot with more testimonials coming soon. Yeah.
Yes.
And just reach out to the person who invited you to listen tonight, and they can help you with whatever you want. If you want to do the business or try the products, or if you know somebody who's struggling with a health issue, we will record this. So if you want to send it to people so that they can watch and hear the testimonials, we can do that too. Thank y'all for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.